Hi, everybody. This is Jeff Barton, and thank you very much for tuning in. This is the Mortgage Minute, and I just want to get to a couple of items before we get into the news of the day, the news to use section. One of the things is in Hollywood, how they shoot movies, and I wanted to just explain. When you see a movie, you see it from beginning to end, and it has a flow and a way by which you can say, okay, here's the beginning, here's the middle, here's the end. Well, in reality, they don't shoot movies like that. They shoot the middle first, the ending next, and the first part last. And it could be that the person you're seeing at the end of the movie really shot their scenes in the first few days of shooting. Now, why do I bring this up? Well, we've got a lot of financial reporting that is done, and it is done supposedly in a linear fashion, i.e., news happens, commentator, then we get the predictions of what's going to happen in the future. Well, because of the way the economy is run, and it is now taken over by political pundits and political people within the financial sector. When financial news became something of a thing back in the dot-com bubble era, back in the year 2000, 99, like that, 98, 99, 2000, it was actually driven by the dot-com bubble and the dot-com stocks and how everything was changing because of the internet. Well, now the internet has really infected every part of life, and because a pundit like myself, somebody who wants to make a statement about politics, can be seen by anybody all over the world. It just depends on who's watching and how those things are promoted. So politically, everything has become about eyeballs and things to be watched. Therefore, real-time news doesn't exist. What exists is an opinion about real-time news, which gets pushed to the forefront rather than what we're talking about in the economic news cycle. So we have economic news that says one thing, yet the political expediency of the moment or my viewpoint gets pushed forward, and I don't like it. I hate it, and I try to keep the show, keep what I do, both here and on the radio, YouTube, all the different channels that I'm on, to a very succinct, this is the way it is today. But it's hard to do, and it's harder to do because people get so worked up and excited about, is there a recession? What's going on with inflation? And it becomes a churnable event. And I hate churnable events, so let's just stick to the facts. And that's the kind of news I like, so let's get right to it. Sorry about that, I had to vent. Okay. 30-year fixed rate loan, 6.78%, 15 years at 5.94. The FHA loan is at 6.14, 6.25 for jumbo loans, and 6.68 for the 5/1. And again, the 5/1 should be less than the 30-year. Why isn't it? Because volatility in the financial markets right now dictate that the short term is not really something that we want to push. So obviously the rates get higher. That's what happens. There are 7 or 8 bullet points here. I'll get through them quick. Don't worry. We'll be to the end as soon as possible. Inflation is not beat. No, it's not. Whoever said it was is refer to the first part of the video. Inflation is something that is a lifestyle, especially when we gave out about $3 trillion 2 years ago and 18 months ago. And we still see the effects of all the financial assistance given during the first 2 years of the Biden administration. That's really what's happening here. So we're going to see prices elevated. We're going to see supply chains still in a mess. And China is still the big unknown because we don't know, one, if we're going to increase supply, or two, if demand is also going to be increased, therefore putting pressure on things like oil and other commodities. 2, interest rates, 7%. Again, yeah, that's part of the issue here. The economy's pretty good, right? What we see is employment is up, 500,000 jobs last month. So in this way, raising interest rates seems to say, hey, the economy can afford it. Why not make some money? And that's what I think the big banks are doing, as well as oil companies, as well as gas companies, as well as any commodity companies. If you can raise prices, you're going to. That's what we call capitalism. Mortgage delinquencies are up in fourth quarter. Well, that's to be expected, right? Obviously, if people are underwater in their houses, or if job losses are bigger than we think, which we're still kind of trying to figure that out. Tech sector, yes, and also in some of the financial sectors, but we see in other sectors of the economy picking up, obviously service sector, restaurant, bars, things like that. Housing affordability is the lowest in 2022. Obviously, we see prices continuing to go up, even if it's going up at a lesser rate, still going up. 2 weeks ago, 5.99% in the 30-year fixed rate loan. Today, 6.75 to 6.875. The mortgage market is volatile. If you see something you can afford, don't wait. Get in there. Make sure that you get locked in, and that's what I would suggest you do. The credit card debt nearing $1 trillion, not good. Household debt nearing 16.9 trillion. Now that includes your mortgage, right? But household debt is huge. We're talking about the raising the debt limit, which is now at 32 or 33 trillion. What's a trillion between friends? And the last thing, house prices up or down, depending on the market you're in, right? If you're in Southern California, you're still seeing house prices go up. There are some opportunities in Vegas. There are some opportunities in other states. But here in local Los Angeles, where I live, house prices continue to go up, although not at a great pace. Oh, man, 622. Sorry for the rant. I'm Jeff Barton. This is the Mortgage Minute. We'll see you next time.